Hello, in this video I'd like to talk about what I've called the textual heuristic. And I'll be gazing up and down because I have this hard copy in front of me. This is something I like to use every semester. It will vary slightly, but take a look at the copy that's posted online at our class website. And we can talk about it in class too, or during our meetings together or in office hours. But for me, in any class there are readings, because I have expertise and your other lecturers and tutors and instructors have expertise in their fields. My field is society, social studies, SOS, civics and citizenship education, multicultural education. That's kind of my universe, or one of my areas of expertise. So we assign things for you to read or things to see and watch, and that helps to convey to you sort of the themes and ideas and some of the content, an introduction to some of the content that's important in that field. Your literacy teachers will do the same thing, your maths teachers will do the same thing. It's impossible for us to cover everything in the time that you're with us, but we want to give you a good introduction to it. So we'll be assigning these things for you to read or to watch, etc., etc. What do we do? Sometimes teachers use journals, right? Do these readings and write in your journal. Or do these readings and then type up an analysis of them. I used to do that in some of my units. Sometimes it's an individual assignment, sometimes it's a group assignment. But again, like I've stressed in other contexts, I don't want to unnecessarily burden you. Why am I doing that? Why did I do that assignment? I do it because having you systematically think about the ideas and write them out or talk about them helps you to metacognate about them in deeper ways. And we can draw on Bloom and Freire and Vygotsky and maybe a little bit of Piaget in terms of how that functions and how that can be successful. So, so that's why we assign things. But those written activities have changed, and now they take the form of kind of this heuristic. We'd like you to use this heuristic as you read through the materials to help guide your thoughts, so that when you come to class, you're ready to talk about them in the group facilitations. So that's kind of what's behind it. In the next segment, I'll go into the specifics of what's on this heuristic and how you might think about using it. So what's on this textual heuristic? I call it a text because you'll be assigned articles and chapters and things to read. Normally academic, sort of empirically, research-based things. We study things. That's what we do in academia, and we can share what we've learned. How do kids learn how to read? How do they think deeply and critically? How do they best learn maths? We study these things, and so we have stuff to share with you, right? We want you to critique it. You shouldn't take anything at face value. But you should give it a go and read it and engage with it. So we assign readings, but we also assign, in some units, it depends which one it is, a film to see or a short video to watch, and that can also, or a poem or a painting can also be a really good text that you can analyze that will help develop your thinking in terms of early childhood or primary teaching, right? So that's what we call it, a textual heuristic. The term heuristic means it's not a rule, but it's a guide. A heuristic is a way of thinking about something, and now that's different than a rule, obviously, but it's also different than a rubric, right? A rubric is, this is what we're looking for, right? But this is to help guide you. So let me share some of this. This will vary semester to semester, but these general things are what you want to look for. As you engage a text, read or watch a text, you should keep an eye out as to what's the central point or thesis of the author or producer of that text. What is your take on it? What does it mean in terms of the content of the unit that you're taking? So if it's a unit that's on social educational policy, what does the main point of this author or producer of text imply for educational policy? Or what does it imply for teaching social studies? What does it imply for being a primary school teacher or an early childhood education teacher? So what does it imply? Also, what are the implications for diverse people? What are the implications of the thesis of this author for diverse people? Just like the themes that normally are included in units that I teach. That's what I mean by diversity, such as gender, sexual orientation, social class, indigeneity, etc. What does this theme, this idea, mean for your practice as a current or as a future primary school teacher or early childhood teacher? What does that mean? If you were to implement what they're talking about, what would that look like? Additionally, and this is where it gets to the critical pedagogy part, the CMSS, which is usually included in my courses, Critical Multicultural Social Studies. What are the power relationships at play in the area being discussed by the author? Who's advantaged? Who's oppressed or disadvantaged? What are the power relationships at play? In instances where there is inequality, how would more equality or equity be produced? So how would you turn an inequitable situation into one that's more equitable? That would mean changing potentially or redistributing the power relationships. And then, what's your favorite quote from the reading or scene from the film, or or piece of the art, or piece of the poem, or piece of the song? What is your favorite bit and why? So that used to comprise a written assignment in my units, but now it's not. It's just this. It's the sheet that we've produced that you can use as you're watching a film, as you're reading a text, right? And you can take notes on it, so that when you come to the group facilitation seminar where these texts will be discussed, you're ready to rock and roll, because I may call on you. What do you think is the most, what do you think is the main point? How would you apply it in primary? How would you apply it in early childhood? What are the power relationships involved? What does it imply for diverse people? I expect that I should be able to, or the group facilitator should be able to call on you. And sometimes they will, directly, and we'll take note. So you're expected to engage with the text using some of these ideas. And that's all you do. When you come to a group seminar as well, a group facilitation seminar, when we're meant to be discussing certain texts, we expect that you actually, this is hardcore, this is intense, that you actually have those texts with you. So the articles that you've printed and read, or that you have on PDFs on your iPad or on your laptop, you should bring those with you, or your notes, if you've taken notes either on a form like that or on your own notebook. When we see that you have those in class, we know you've been giving it a go, right? So bring those. Usually it works out really well. This has proven to be very helpful. Do it the way that you want, but we'll be asking you about these things. And it's how we make sense of these texts, and how we take our own thinking to higher and deeper levels. Can it be both higher and deeper? Anyway, I think you know what I mean. So have fun. This is the intellectual experience, isn't it? This is what university is about. And you usually share such great, cool, interesting ideas and ways of thinking about them in our classes that we're thrilled about it. So thanks. That's about it. Here's the fun fine print stuff at the end. This video is intended for students that are taking my units or classes. This is for supplementary informational purposes only. In any instance where what is said here conflicts with a unit guide, a study guide, a unit rubric, or university or faculty guidelines, they hold sway. Next, after watching this video, if you have remaining questions, set up a time to meet with me during office hours. I'd be glad to talk to you, to meet in person, by phone, or by Skype. But please read all the relevant course information first. Next, this video is produced independently from any institution and is protected under a Creative Commons copyright. Watch it, use it, enjoy it, or ignore it. Just don't change it or sell it. All right, that's the end of the fine print. Thanks.